Well, I don't have much of a case. Speakers made the case more eloquently and personally than I possibly could. I'm here just to express gratitude, express appreciation for not only all those that spoke, but many of the folks that quite literally are sitting and standing behind them that made today possible. We started this journey. I leaned over to Mayor Gloria. I said, was it really it was just March, not of last year, not of prior year. It was just a matter of months ago that we stood right here and we laid out a vision, a marker, and a dream, and here we are, and we've made it a reality. That is rare in politics, particularly on issues as vexing and challenging as this issue. But when you consider the force of will behind this effort, it's not surprising. And I think that was highlighted by a number of speakers, Mayor Schaaf making the self-evident point, this is California's original sin. I mean, this is the manifestation, isn't it, of our failure. And I say original because it's not novel, it's not new. In many ways, we can mark the moments, not just 1967, but in the 40s and 50s, the stacking of reforms, some well-intended, some little less so. Not one policy, but a series of decisions and policies, so many of them being advanced disproportionately here in the state of California, highlighted, punctuated by some of the most well-known political brands in our history, Governor Ronald Reagan, but also through efforts that were advanced at the national level. The Supreme Court, 1975, the O'Connor versus Donaldson decision, which said you can't incarcerate people against their will for one reason, that's issues related to their mental and brain health. Civil liberties push, more of a conservative backlash, block grants, we can talk about SROs and red line, all of these things stacking together. And here we are. It took us decades and decades to get here. It took us 5 months to change the paradigm, and now it's going to take us a year after I have the privilege to sign the actual bill. I have waited. This is not one of those fake bills. It will take us now a year to begin the process of implementation. We have 7 counties that are committing themselves to the first phase. Every county in the state of California will be responsible for implementing this program. We will start with 7 counties. We will start with counties large and small. Tuolumne County, Orange County. We have Riverside that's joined us, Glenn County, San Francisco, San Diego, and Stanislaus. All 7 committing to an implementation phase within the next calendar year. The first phase will be supported by startup grants of some $63 million. The courts will receive a component of that. The pilot counties will receive the first tranche of dollars, all supported by unprecedented support for housing, as Senator Eggman said, support across the spectrum for services through our $14.7 billion homeless proposal and package, $11.6 billion of community behavioral health resources, record amount of money. And yes, I heard you loudly and clearly on workforce, $1.4 billion of new money for workforce development to train the social workers, the counselors, and the staff. This is unprecedented support that we are committing to over the next few years to make this program work. We say this all the time, program passing is not necessarily problem solving. And that's why it was also not lost on me what the speakers also reinforced. Now the hard work, the implementation, the application of this ideal. And that hard work is realized at the local level. State vision, national vision, it's realized at the local level. And that's why I'm so honored to have so many local leaders, not least of which your mayor, Sam Liccardo, who's been on board not only with this, he was there well before this saying we need with urgency to do something more. You all need to do better. We can't do this alone, and he's right. all the county supervisors that have had our back, overwhelmingly so, CSAC that had our back in this process, the League of Cities, the big 13 mayors in particular, led by Todd and led by Libby, that have done a remarkable job. Of course, Mayor Liccardo was the leader of that organization when we initiated this process. All of them responsible for us getting here. Brian Rice, you know, who rushed into my office, said, we're on board. I didn't even have to ask him. He said, and he started expressing his own experiences out there in the streets and sidewalks, talking about, you know, there's no compassion in stepping over people in the streets and sidewalks, feel powerless. I just came in, I didn't have a chance to hear his comments. I imagine they went along those lines. The sense of being powerless, not to be able to do it. See the same person over and 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 over again. And you can't do anything about it. And so we're changing that paradigm. This is a new paradigm, which is a new approach. We're not reforming anything. In fact, therein has been the struggle. We've been so consumed to reform laws in the late 50s, 57, Short-Doyle Act, 67, LPS, that we were butting our heads against each other, not just against the wall. Everybody pointing fingers and everybody saying that goes too far, doesn't go far enough. We played in the margins. The Laura's Law helped 218 people. State of 40 million people helped 218 people last year. You know, come on. So we took a different approach. It was the old approach. I said it at the time when we were standing here, sort of flipped around, and I said, if you don't like the answer, ask a better question. If you don't like the answer, ask a better question. So we started asking ourselves different questions. And that's where Kim, and thank you, Senator Umberg, for recognizing Kim. Thank you for recognizing Dr. Galley, who came here with his vision in the first interview we had. It was not to be the COVID czar, the Fauci of California. It was to get this thing done in absentia. No one more responsible for us getting here today than he. Jessica, I love that you pointed out Jessica, Senator. I'll point out Jason Elliott as well. A remarkable commitment, not passing interest of our team that put their passion to action. And we rolled up our sleeves together. At first, there was tremendous headwind. And there was every reason to think this wouldn't get done, or in some ways worse, it would get watered down to irrelevancy. And we would have a false promise that we were promoting. Neither happened. And you know why? Harold, it was folks like you. It was the personal stories. You know, it's one thing to receive an opposition letter from, you know, four-letter groups that have been out there for 30, 40 years, understandably holding hands, talking about the way the world should be and the way maybe it once was, though I'm not sure. And it's another to say, well, that's wonderful, but what about my damn daughter? What are you going to do for her? Because this isn't working. And that changed the paradigm. All of a sudden, those folks that came in hot to our office said, well, I'm not sure I can join you and be on board. All of a sudden, they came back, said, can I put my name on that? Because they realized the stakes. Continue to do what you've done, you'll get what you got. And look what we've got. It's unacceptable. So we have the power to turn this around, just as your daughter had the power to turn her life around. Everybody has the capacity to flow with the forces of life. Everybody has the capacity to be fully expressive in their life. This problem is solvable. We know that. We don't have to fall prey to the cynicism and all the negativity that's just too big, it's too hard. It's hard, it's big, but we can meet this moment, and we can create many, many moments in the future to do justice to those that need us and are suffering and struggling. So, look, forgive me for extending my comments, because I'm going to ask everybody to come up here as I sign this in a moment. But full circle again. Senator Cortese, thank you as well. You were here when we launched this, and you're here again. You were steadfast throughout. But to Eggman and Umberg, you guys I mean, we drafted behind your backs and your passion. You worked it. You made this happen. I have only 6 more bills, Senator, to sign of yours, not 7 in a moment. And I'm just proud of you because this is one of the things I think that we'll look back on with tremendous pride when we're done. You know, we get a moment in time, but this might live on if we make it real. And that's the hard work of the next year, hard work over the next 2 years to get all 58 counties on board, and then get out there and start turning things around. With that, let's get on up here and sign this legislation and celebrate everybody's hard work and success. We'll all gather around. Anybody's welcome to join us.
Oh my gosh, anything in the shade.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, get me in the shade. Well, let's make sure we. Who's missing?
That's good. That's all right. We're good enough.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, get in here. You guys, authors, get in close. Yeah, get in here.
First, we got a Mike Pence thing going on.
Oh, is that right? Oh, is that the?
Yeah.